So that was Galactic Empire. Brad and I are going to go see him in about 3 weeks here in July. So it's interesting. They basically play rock music to the themes of Star Wars and then a few other things. So we're going to go see those. And today's show is all about Star Wars. We thought we would start off with the Galactic Empire. My name is Casey Wilson. I'm one of your hosts, and this is
Brad Erie.
And Brad, if you are on Twitter and you interact with somebody from this podcast, it's Brad, not me.
I'm sorry.
So don't blame me. So today we have a Star Wars total podcast, and it's all about, we both read Heir to the Empire because I've read it twice before when I was younger, but it's been 20 something years since I've read it. And I'll be honest, I forgot a lot of stuff. I remember the general overarching themes of it.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh yeah. And Talon Card is like, I remember I liked him a lot back then. And I remembered his name and that he was the head of the smugglers that Amara worked for. But I didn't remember how much I liked him until I was like listening to the book. And I'm like, oh yeah, he's very methodical. He's almost like a mini Thrawn. He's very calculating in what he does and the way, they portray his talking and stuff.
But I like him and how he handles Thrawn, like the game of back and forth.
Yes, it was actually pretty good. So anyway, but I know what happens.
See, Mom, I can read.
I know what happens in future books.
Don't spoilers.
Are you into the next one?
I just started it.
Oh, I'm ahead of you. Let's see. I'll tell you where I'm at. I was like into it then, so I was like, all right.
See, I thought I was waiting for you.
I got 13 hours left, but I don't know how long it is. So, but I'm already at least 2 hours into it, 3 hours. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We'll probably veer off on some other subjects and stuff too, but we are talking all Star Wars today, and we're doing a review of Heir to the Empire, and then Brad is going to try to redeem himself from his May the 4th be with you quiz, which he absolutely shit the bed. So we're going to hope.
I can't even defend myself.
We're going to hope that Brad can defend himself. Since he just got done reading the book, that he can do as a 25-question quiz. And the goal is just for him to get 15 right. I got 23 out of 25 right. I missed a couple.
I just want to say I finished this book weeks ago. So
you did not.
I did.
You finished it a week and a half ago or so. Because I was like, literally, you were like, come on, dude, the last podcast we did.
Yeah,
and I was almost done, and I finished it a couple days later. And you'd only finished it maybe 8 or 9 days before me.
All right.
So
it's been a while.
So if you can't retain a book from 2 weeks ago, I'm a little worried. It could be Alzheimer's.
I am old.
Are we going to start chanting, let's go, Brad?
I'm going to start chanting Star Wars, Star Trek quotes because I get confused.
It's the lesser of the two, so nobody really knows those quotes.
I mean, next week we got to start reviewing Brave New World episodes.
Unless you can get on with the next trilogy book, then we'll be there. All right, so let's start off. Give me your feelings on, because this is the first time you'd ever read Heir to the Empire, because I've talked extensively about it, how much I loved it, and how Kathleen Kennedy screwed everything up. All she had to do was follow the blueprint. It was laid out right in front of them, and they all did horrible. I'm going to try not to use any cuss words when it comes to Kathleen Kennedy today.
So let me first be clear. I did not read this book. I got it on audio.
Well, so did I, but I read it originally.
And the thing I really liked about the audio was the guy who read it did pretty good voice.
Mark Thompson?
Yeah, did really good voice things of the different characters. So he kind of sounded like Han Solo, and he sounded like, Luke and Lando.
You haven't listened to very many.
I haven't.
Mark Thompson is the man when it comes to Star Wars. When somebody else reads a Star Wars book, I'm always like, I don't know.
But I haven't read very many books where they have sound effects, like musical scores.
That is the cool thing about the Star Wars books.
Yeah, like he'll do his best Han Solo impersonation, all of that. So that really got me into it.
R2, CP3L, all
of it. The Chewie guy speaking half whatever language they speak and half English was kind of funny, kind of like a guy with a stroke.
Yeah.
Chewie is upset.
It bothered me a little bit.
I was like, okay. I'm glad that only I can hear that because I would think people would.
I don't read books
Question.
anymore. I listen to them on Audible.
Yeah, so much
I can't-
easier. Working out,
Yep.
jogging, house cleaning, whatever. Like I just slip on the headphones and I can just go about my day.
When I decorate for Christmas, I go through like 5 books in like 3 weeks.
Yeah,
Because I'm just outside decorating, like
and
doing my
the
display.
way you decorate his
And
display.
so I'm out there for so many hours. It usually takes me between 40 and 50 hours to put up my display. And this year I got to get even more Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
I have Star Wars stuff in it.
Well,
but not a lot.
I think we've said in this podcast before that my autistic son is obsessed with your house and your decorations, and he's already started asking because he knows it's getting close to that time.
I almost last year bought it was like $300 blow up with the Millennium Falcon, but I'm trying not to do blow ups as much anymore. I'm like slowly drifting to try to do like even fancier stuff than blow ups, but I will still do them, and I'll probably, if I replace some, but I usually have a Yoda.
Yeah.
I got Grogu now because Yoda died. The motor died in it. But anyway,
like you said, digressing.
We got sidetracked, but Audible is the way to go.
Yeah. So I highly recommend that. It really sucked me into the story. My second thought was, man, I really hope that computer AI takes over and they can redo this, like just digitally put the main characters in and give me the series in like 10 years. Like, they already did that to Luke Skywalker. With the Mandalorian. I mean, I was trying to
go. We were going with AI. I'm like,
Harrison Ford. They de-aged him really well in the movie. I haven't seen the movie, but I've seen the special effects of how they de-aged him, and it's really good.
In the trilogy series?
No, for Indiana Jones. They de-aged him, and it looks
I won't
wonderful.
be seeing that because.
That with the name
it would
that
go
we
against
showed
all of my principles to try to support anything Kathleen Kennedy might get finally fired for.
So I was hearing this stuff thinking, oh my gosh, this would be so good. But like, it's either I want them to either do like an animation of this, like Rebels style, or just like computer AI. And we're like, hey, we're just going to de-age.
Have you finished Rebels?
No, I've just started.
So like, this is actually in the future. But we're gonna get season 5 of Rebels is what the Dave Filoni movie is gonna be, but what Ahsoka is too.
Yeah,
it's a continuation of this story.
Yeah,
and so then they start talking about Heir to the Empire. It's gonna be like his movie is basically now. As we read these, you see, well, there's certain people that can't be in it.
I know,
or there's certain storylines they can't go down per se.
Yeah,
but they are bringing Mara Jade in.
Yeah,
so they could get into the Talon Card and. Other things, but Thrawn's gonna be such a focus because his character is. Yeah, I mean, I kind of forgot because you have the Thrawn character from the Rebel series.
Yeah, which I don't know anything about,
and I had read the Thrawn Ascendancy,
which I barely scratched.
The 3 Thrawn books, and then there's like maybe 3 others. I'd read them all. He's my favorite character that is not Luke Skywalker or Revan or something like that. Like non-force using character. Yeah. Him and Han, probably my 2 favorite characters in all of Star Wars. And Talon Card is up there now that I'm rereading this. I'm going, I remember how much I loved that character reading it. But hearing voices done to it, it
is great. Better. It does. It makes it a lot better. And
Thrawn is brutal.
Yes. This was my first real introduction to Thrawn. Now I cannot wait to finish this series and then go and do the Thrawn Ascending series because I am full
when you
Thrawn
find out
all
his
the time.
History, like from a young age, from a boy, to where he goes. Like it's a huge story. I mean, they could make 9 movies out of Thrawn.
They should. Well, look, while we're talking about Heir to the Empire, I just want to throw out. I also listened to Revan, which I am equally enthusiastic about.
Who recommended that for you?
I think you might have. You started me on this path, and I pray to God that they make a Revan movie because that would be so awesome.
Well, he's going to be
Scourge.
I don't know if they'll make the Revan movie. Maybe if the Old Republic stuff goes really well, they may do an offshoot. But I would guess that they'll probably wrap some of those stories into an Old Republic like movies because there's it's great stories.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I want you to catch up because there's so much we can talk about.
Yeah.
And just for me, Like now I'm like, oh, at first I go, well, I'll do Heir to the Empire, and then I'll be like, we'll do a book report on it, and then I'll move on to my next books. Then I'm like, nope, I got to listen to the whole trilogy again because I forgot so much of it.
Yeah. So I'm going to start it. I didn't know you had already started it, so I will get on to the second one. But this was my first really foray into getting into Star Wars Beyond the movies that I've been into. So I loved it. I was into it.
Soon you'll be like, Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah, I did feel the rage reading Revan and some of the other stories that they could have tapped into.
When you get done with this 3-book series, and you sit there and you see the garbage they put out, you're gonna sit there and go, now I know why Casey was so angry about what Kathleen Kennedy has done to Star Wars. But I digress.
So I'm in. I loved it. I did that whole book in like a week. Like I was.
Yeah, that's why you finished ahead of me, because we started at similar time. It's just I listen when I work out and when I work outside and stuff. I just put my AirPods in and go.
Yeah, I was hooked. Plowed right through it. Didn't want to stop it. Loved it.
All right, so who's your favorite character besides the main ones?
First of all, Thrawn was probably blew me away.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That was my first thing in a Thrawn, and I'm like, oh. And I was a little disappointed in Luke. I was like, come on! I was expecting more kind of like Luke heroics, and like they have whatever those creatures are that makes a force bubble.
You're gonna screw this quiz up again.
I know. It is so bad.
Whatever those creatures, Islamari. But anyway.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember all those names.
I probably just gave you an answer.
I know. Say that name again.
I don't remember if that's a question. Did they put that? I took the quiz a few days ago, so I think there might have been one question about that.
Yeah, like I know I'm going to fail. Like I was trying to think.
How many meter of a bubble do they create? Just one of them.
Well, it's unknown.
They said it multiple times.
Well, the more of them, 20 meters,
10 meters.
Gah!
But they have a compounding effect.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
So big chunks of the planet where the forests are.
But I was trying to think of the stuff even before we started this. I'm like, I don't even remember the Wookiee planet that you completely.
Kashyyyk?
Yes.
Oh damn! I keep giving you answers.
Kashyyyk.
I gotta stop giving you answers.
I know.
You should do the questions first. So
I know the Chewbacca's like half English speaking friend. I forgot his name.
He was an ambassador.
Yes, I forgot the bug-eyed creatures, what their names were. That had the wand.
I'm not gonna say them.
I know. I forgot the little creatures
I
that force bubbles.
We should do the quiz first. So I don't give you all the answers.
Okay. I'm good. I'm just gonna fail. I'm just gonna fail.
They're no gray. They're the ones anyway.
Yeah, they're like the hidden thing that Princess Leia.
I don't want you to redeem yourself now that you just read the book. You need to get like 20 out of 25.
There's no way. There's no way. I've already said Star Trek instead of Star Wars like 3 times.
It's
all right. Give me some multiple. Okay, multiple choice. I might have a little bit of help in.
But yeah, Thrawn was your favorite. Obviously, mine.
Yeah.
But Talon Card is the second.
Talon Card, yeah, he was also really good. And I liked how when he picked up. Yeah, well, I haven't really gotten into her yet. I liked when Talon Card picked up Luke, and I was like, oh, is he going to turn him in? Is he not going to turn him in? I don't trust him. I don't know what's going on. Like when Thrawn came, I was just like, who's playing who? And then when Han Solo and Lando were having dinner with him, and then Thrawn came down, and like Luke was escaping. Like my head was exploding of like, oh my God, there's so much going on. I don't know who to trust.
And he stays cool and calm in the situation.
Always.
That's what you love about the pressure of that situation.
Yeah. And Jade, I'm like, is she going to turn good? I don't know if she's bad. She was like, I have no idea. I haven't got a good beat on her. I liked her.
Do you want me to tell you?
No, I'm going to read the second book.
Her and Luke.
You know what? I'm glad no one listening could see you do that. But anyways.
That's his wife.
All right.
They get married.
Spoilers.
Yeah. I mean, this happened 30 years. Like,
Look,
When did that
man,
book come out? I'm listening to the 20th anniversary.
it had to
of
be
and-
in the 90s,
and
right?
that book is old because I got it on sale for $7.99 on Audible. So
Yeah. Well, see, I'm a premium membership, so I get for credit.
I just get one credit a month.
All right, let's
but
hit me with the
I
quiz.
buy extras.
Well,
No. We haven't talked enough about the book.
Okay.
You can't just go.
Oh my gosh,
doing?
he's throwing stuff,
at-
ladies
look
and
at what you're
gentlemen.
doing, man.
For those listening to the podcast, Casey
You're banging the table too much.
threw a Star Wars prop down. We have Star Wars props on our table, and he was so excited that he threw it down.
You're banging up against the table.
But what was banging? That's the question you got to ask. I was excited about this book. So I was totally into it.
Let's go over. So you want me to go over like the story guidelines, outline of the story?
Yeah, wrap it up because I just feel like I'm gushing over different parts.
Unlike what Kathleen Kennedy garbage she put out in the movie form.
Yeah.
So Timothy Zahn wrote the book. He is an excellent sci-fi writer. He writes stuff that's not just Star Wars, but basically Timothy Zahn has written everything that has to do with Thrawn. Every book that has Thrawn in it. He's even helping in the writing room for the Dave Filoni movie and everything that has to do with Thrawn's going to be in Ahsoka. He's assisting in that because that's his character. He created it. And he's won awards for sci-fi writing and stuff. I follow him on Facebook, and he goes to like Comic-Cons and stuff like that and signs books and that kind of thing. But he, in my opinion, besides George Lucas and like, Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau have done great things. But they're almost just trying to counteract the crap that Kathleen Kennedy did.
He's a part of the Holy Trinity.
He's probably him and George Lucas is obviously up here. He's number one. And then you start filtering the people below it.
Like Filoni.
I have to say Zahn, since he gave them a bunch of the source material. He's the guy who gave them all the source material.
Favreau.
All the legend stuff basically comes off what Timothy Zahn did. So he writes the book, and it has to do with after the fall of the Empire, after Luke,
this takes place 7 years
Darth
after
Vader dumps the Emperor and the thing.
Yeah, this takes 7 years after.
I think it's 4 years.
4 years, okay.
I think it's 4 years, but it's not long after. But I believe it was 4 years instead. And so there's remnants of the Galactic Empire out on the edges.
Yep.
And they're really not occupying much space, and the New Republic is growing in size. And then all of a sudden they start having some setbacks militarily, and they got something going on out in the outer areas, which is kind of what they refer to in the Ahsoka series too. That there's somebody in the outer rim area that's causing problems. Well, that's where they thought that the New Republic thought that they had taken out all the Grand Admirals. But they didn't take out the greatest Grand Admiral of them all. The greatest military mind in all of Star Wars. Besides maybe him and Akbar are right up there.
Yeah.
Akbar doesn't get his cred, but he is the military strategist. And he is, well, I won't get it. That's one of the questions on the quiz. I was about ready to give you another answer. But there's a bunch of stuff that goes on in the book with Akbar and Philia.
Yeah.
Like political stuff. Like they're trying to get rid of Akbar. And then, anyway, Thrawn is a genius. So he's attacking the New Republic on different fronts, militarily, but also financially and politically, he's attacking them. So he's doing stuff like he deposited a large amount of money in Akbar's account right as they were about to do a raid to make it look like Akbar took money. So then Akbar gets, put on house arrest while they're investigating him, saying that he's taking money from the Empire. And basically they had a bunch of undermanned ships that were acting as cargo ships, but they're really military ships, and Thrawn went and attacked them, and there was because he needed more capital ships. So anyway, like Thrawn is a master genius, but basically Han and Leia have been married. She's pregnant with the twins, Jason and Jannah. I don't think they say the names, and that's who they turn out to be.
Spoilers.
And so part of Thrawn's thing is he wants to go to the storehouse on, what's the planet called?
Yep, see?
It's on Wayland. The planet's Wayland. What they call the Tom. It starts with the T. I forget, but it's a big mountain that stores a bunch of the secret projects that the Emperor had in production, like cloaking devices and stuff. And he had left a dark Jedi to guard it. And then, do you know that they say it in the book. Thrawn says it, but they never confirm it. But George Seaboth is a clone.
See, I didn't.
It's a clone of George Seaboth.
Yes, they did say it. They
Yeah.
did say it, and that's what makes
Thrawn
him a
says
little
it, but
bit.
they never like confirm it until later on.
Yeah.
right? But because his age and stuff, Luke's already a little suspicious about his aging and stuff like that.
And he's a little bit off kilter, like
Yeah.
a little bit unpredictable.
For a Jedi, he is.
Yeah, and I really liked in the beginning how the book said that one of the reasons why the Empire was so good in the beginning is because the Emperor, using the dark force, like gave the troops like an extra degree of efficiency.
Oh yeah, battle meditations.
Yes, and one of the things that Thrawn wanted was to get that back. And how can he get to this, dark Lord and trust him? And like, how can he get him on his side? And that the games he had to play to get this crazy old dark Jedi Lord, or whatever you want to call him, to get him on his
Jedi Master.
Yep. Get him onto his ship and then do what he wants. And so he has to manipulate him.
And what did he use to control him?
Oh, I don't remember. You already told me once during this podcast, and I still don't remember.
Islamari.
Islamari, kind of like calamari.
They're little caterpillars that have claws that embed in trees, and the force cannot be used anywhere within a 10 meter of one of them. If you have multiple ones, it spreads so Thrawn has harvested a bunch of these from the planet.
And that's how
from the planet.
I don't know.
It's one of the questions. You're screwed.
I am so screwed. But that's how you met the one middleman guy in there. And that's how he was introduced, was Thrawn. Man. Yeah, Jade's boss. What's his name?
Oh, Talon Card. He isn't really a middleman. He's probably the biggest smuggler, crime fan, but not really crime, more smuggling. Yeah. He's like real professional. He's not Jabba the Hutt, but he gets mentioned by
like
Han
a weird
and them
set
as
of
being,
ethics.
When they ask who are the biggest people now that Jabba's dead.
Yeah.
And Talon Card is one of them.
So that's how he was kind of introduced, was like Thrawn with him trying to, we need to go and get some of these creatures. And I'm like, what are they getting these creatures for? I don't understand any of this. So I loved how it all came to go into play. But all right, go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I was excited.
So anyway, there's this planet called Wayland, and it has this storehouse, which is basically a whole planet or a whole mountain full of like stuff that they were developing, which I'm sure had clone technology in there. That's why George Seaboth's there. But anyway, it was protected by a dark Jedi. And George Seaboth defeated the Dark Jedi and then basically controlled the planet. Like he was super powerful. And so that all the people followed him, and he basically was very happy just being there on the planet. And anybody who came to try to go for the storehouse, he'd kill him. But since it's Grand Admiral Thrawn and he got Islamari, there was nothing Seaboth could do to stop him. And so basically he struck up a deal with him. And so he's going to help them do battle meditations. So I'll go over battle meditation. So Jedi or Sith, they can focus their energy, the Force, and they can help enhance. It's like almost like plugging in a super-powered battery into a machine and getting it to work way better.
It's like nitrous.
Communications works better. People have a sixth sense, so they start almost like reacting to things before they happen because they're having the Force guide them.
Yeah.
So like they said, it increased their efficiency by like 30%.
Something like that, yeah.
Like the military. And like as soon as the Emperor was killed by Darth Vader, thrown into the thing, as soon as that happened, they all fell apart because they were all depending on the Emperor's ability to help guide everything. And their communication, basically, they lost their balls and they got the crap kicked out of them and they shouldn't have. And there's a few times in the book and when Pelion, who's an admiral, he says, I wonder what would have happened if Thrawn was there instead of, the other.
We might have saved that big ship.
Yeah, we might have saved the Death Star, or we might have just not lost.
Yeah.
After the Emperor died. So, with that being said, there's a dark. He's a clone Jedi of an old Jedi Master. He should be like 100 years old, but he's not because he's a clone. He was made off of George Seaboth's original. George Seaboth died in the Outbound Flight, which we find out. I never read that book. There's a book called The Outbound Flight. That's one book I haven't read, and I always go, "Oh, I should read that." But now that I've listened to Heir of the Empire, and they talk about, I knew that he was part of the Outbound Flight, because they talk about it in this book, and I remembered that. So I always look at that book and go, oh, I'd like to hear the backstory. But you know what I forgot? I forgot that he was an advisor to Senator Palpatine. I forgot that. And Luke, when Luke was going through trying to figure out who this guy is. So anyway, there's basically a war still going on. The New Republic's winning the war, but Thrawn is starting to turn the tide. He's gaining power. His military acumen, and he does these. If you read any of his like Chiss ascendancy books, when he's a Chiss commander stuff, he does these different type of attacks where he almost takes big capital ships and jumps right into the battle, and then pulls out, and then jumps in he does all this unusual military tactics. And that you could do with smaller ships, but nobody ever tried to do with big capital ships. Usually with big capital ships, they would like come in and they drop all their fighters and smaller ships and attack, and they would be like almost the big, huge, tank in the back that everybody fed off of, and he would use them to actually attack, like to jump in, attack, jump out. And so they start turning the tide in this war. And,
all right, I just want to stop you right here. For those of us who are Star Trek fans, that is known as the Picard maneuver. That is old tactics. Picard did that well before.
Okay. Picard had one ship.
But he was a master of warping a short distance to make it look like he had two ships in the
you
same
are correct.
spot. Just saying it out there.
I give you that point, but he wasn't doing it with Imperial Star destroyers jumping in and out.
Just let it be known.
Okay.
Timothy
Zahn. You don't even get that
Zahn.
right. I'll ask you like first question. What's the name of the guy who wrote the book?
You're going to be like, what's my name, Brad? I'm going to be like, Carl?
Jesus Christ.
I'm old.
But anyway, it's really hard to go through the book because we just start.
I know. All right. Hey, all right.
It's really hard. So anyway, that's the overline, that there's a battle between those two forces.
Yeah.
So the deal that Thrawn makes is he's going to get Luke and Leia and her twin babies that are in her belly. He's going to get those for George to train, George Seaboth. And because he wants to be their master and he wants to train them. And that's the deal he makes. So George helps him with the battle and stuff.
Yep.
But also Thrawn doesn't want to become dependent on George. So he doesn't use them all the time.
Yeah.
And so next book, it gets into where Luke and him actually start interacting. But anyway,
spoilers.
So Thrawn's trying to abduct Leia and Luke on multiple occasions, but it fails.
With the little gray-eyed soldiers.
The no gray.
No gray, but they are gray. What a weird name. But go on.
Well, I don't know if it's not gray. It's no gree. No gree. No gree? Yeah, I think no gree. Yeah, no gree. That's how it's pronounced. So anyway, they're badass assassins.
Yep.
Like a real warrior race. They don't do quite as well against the Wookiees. The Wookiees fucked them up.
Yeah. Who needs arms?
Yeah, who needs arms? So anyway, he's trying to steal the Luke and Leia, and they can't. All the main characters in Lando's in it.
Yeah,
it's awesome. It is such a good book. And there's this whole thing with Mara Jade, who used to be the hand of the Emperor.
Yeah,
she has Force abilities, and the big thing she had is she had a direct communication with the Emperor. Yeah. The Emperor would see what she saw. It was like an unusual connection that they had. And she was super powerful. If anybody knew the hand of the Emperor was there, but she wasn't well known because she usually ended up killing probably most of the people she dealt with. But she was very powerful, and she is a badass Force user who eventually is trained by her husband.
Hey, spoilers!
Master Luke Skywalker, who they do get married in the future. So the book, when you get into the next book, this is just this is all old stuff. There's no spoilers or anything.
Spoilers! I'm starting a new book.
I know, but you're going to know what happens now, just like I know what happens.
Keep going.
So anyway, and they have a kid named Ben Skywalker.
All right.
Oh, man.
All right.
Knives in, I'm telling you. He becomes a very powerful Jedi himself as a young man.
You know what? Why do I need to read the book?
So the aftermath of the Jedi books, I read. There's 8. They like Luke Skywalker's in his perfect form back then, his most powerful form.
I just keep saying the book. I don't want to know.
All right, so Mara Jade is this hand of the Emperor. She's a has Force ability in use, and she's working as the number 2 for Talon Card, and who's a smuggler. And she basically, when the Emperor died, it ruined her life, and she hates Luke Skywalker. She wants to kill him. She really legitimately wants, and there's certain circumstances that keep happening that prevent her from killing him.
Yeah.
And there's
which
also
is kind of the cat and mouse part of the book.
And I could literally talk for 2 hours and people would read the book and go, we never talked about this. There's so much in the book.
Yeah.
But she is a badass. And him and her have to survive in a forest together. And they slowly get a begrudging respect for each other towards the end.
Yeah.
But she still says she wants to kill him at the end of the first book.
Yeah.
So more stuff has to happen. But, you know, she's a badass. She's scary.
She is. She's a good shot.
She is an awesome character. And she'll be being played by Karen Gillian.
Ooh.
In the books, because remember, Mara has red hair.
Yeah.
Karen, she's already been cast by
Nice.
Disney to play Mara Jade. So
Sweet.
we will get her in live action, which is
Can't wait.
When I heard that, I literally got chills when I heard that. When I go, oh yeah, she's the
goes back
perfect
to
Mara
my
Jade.
Filet Filoni
Yep.
movement. Hashtag.
And if you don't know her, she actually plays, what's the character in Guardians of the Galaxy?
Oh, now look at you.
Damn, what's her
Oh, now look at you.
Gamora's sister.
Failing.
Would you know what she got her real big break in?
Failing. Jumanji.
Nope.
Doctor Who.
There you go, man. Amelia Pond.
There you go.
So she's one of my favorites. So I thought
Yeah.
that was a perfect casting for that.
She's a good 8.7 on Jennifer Connelly.
She's a very attractive woman. We'll say that.
Yep.
But she's a really good actress. So I was like really
Yeah.
excited about her playing. And she's fit. You know, she has that role. Like when you see her in Jumanji,
Yeah.
she can play that role. They should make her Laura Croft.
They should. More roles, the better.
The more roles for her, the better. I agree. So anyway, she's going to be in the live action. But that interactions between her and Luke are awesome.
Yeah.
And I remember when I first read the book, towards the end of the book, I'm like, those two should get together. But I didn't know because I hadn't read.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but now I know that they do.
They do.
Thanks.
And they have a
Casey.
kid. And she becomes a Jedi.
Oh.
But
Next thing you know, you're going to tell me that Harrison Ford's Han Solo dies by his son Ben
he doesn't.
in the movies.
That's Kathleen Kennedy horse shit.
All right.
That's only
Okay.
You know what? 40 years in the future, Han Solo's still alive.
All right. Thank God.
Chewbacca, not alive.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know.
But Kathleen Kennedy wanted to keep the cute big animal around, and let's get rid of that ugly old Han Solo. We can put somebody else in the Wookiee costume.
Yeah.
We don't need, what's his name? Mayhew? Was that his name?
Peter Mayhew.
Peter Mayhew. Yeah, we just get another tall guy and stuff him in the costume. But let's kill Han Solo. Let's have his son kill him.
I just wanted one scene, Kathleen.
And then let's
one scene of them
redeem
all
his
together.
son 45 minutes later.
Yes.
It's ridiculous. It's the worst written.
But back to the book.
Yeah.
My job is to keep you focused.
Yes.
I'm trying to use my dark Jedi magic.
And this is going to be the crazy thing every time we do a book review on this trilogy.
Yeah.
It's like when you're going to get deeper into this. Now, you're
Yeah.
not going to remember half of it. But
That is
you're
true.
going to get deeper into this and you're going to go, oh, man, Casey was so right. Kathleen Kennedy had all of this. And she just, like you on the quiz, shit the bed.
Yeah.
That's why she's not going to have a job anymore very soon. And all the major studios have all told her, get the hell out. We don't want you. She is blacklisted in Hollywood. She's a failure. She has millions of dollars and a very successful husband. But she's a failure when it comes to being a studio executive.
She's a failure at her own private island.
Yeah, she can
lighting
go buy
cigars
an
with
island,
her
hopefully
$100
never
bills.
come back.
Yes.
And then let Dave and John and whoever they decide to mentor and bring up through the legends category. We won't even get into Lena Headley or Lena. She is we'll get on another episode. I've been watching stuff on her. She is the worst. She's like Kathleen Kennedy 2.0, except she doesn't have the power. She only has one show she's getting to direct. So anyway, they come down to the end. There's a long story. I've been watching multiple stuff from different people producing this. She is trying to ruin the origins of Star Wars and George Lucas. She hates George Lucas.
But see, now you're getting in a part of the book that I really liked the most, which was the Thrawn, the Dark Jedi Master, Jade and Luke. Like they're all playing each other in different ways, and you don't know who's going to win. Like Luke and Jade are in this force that they can't have any force abilities because of those creatures.
And you want to know what? Nobody. I don't know. That gets into
slow down.
Stuff, I don't want to ruin other book series for you.
Thank you.
So,
then you have, Thrawn is constantly trying to get Luke and Leia so he can appease, but he doesn't want to get them like too fast because he's trying to tag this guy along.
well, he
Jedi
wants to get him
thing.
fast. He's just dealing with Jedi, and Leia is getting trained to be a Jedi. She's very novice, but she has ability.
Yeah.
And she senses things and feels
and
things.
she can call out for Luke.
Yep.
And so they keep escaping these narrow misses. Like,
Yes.
we're going to take this thing. We're going to sneak away to the Wookiee planet. And Thrawn immediately figures out that's the plan with like his brilliance. But like, look, we have these two ships that dock.
That's the thing. His deductive. You know who he reminds me of?
He is like
deductive reasoning.
He's like an evil Sherlock Holmes / House
Doctor Who
/
deductive reasoning. Like sitting there and breaking stuff down, seeing the big picture and playing all the roles in it, and knowing what's going to happen before you do. Thrawn is very much like that, but Sherlock Holmes is another good example. But he has such great deductive reasoning and sound mind. That's what's impressive about him is he's almost like he has the Force.
Yeah,
he's predicting what's going to happen, but just from knowing people.
Yeah,
and I've always loved that trait. I like to think that I'm a pretty good observant person. Like, when I talk about Kathleen Kennedy per se.
Oh no!
Like, I don't know her. I've never spent any time with her. But all you have to do is see what a pain in the ass. Most people don't like working with her. They do it because they have to. She's a pain in the ass. Everything she does almost has been unsuccessful.
Yeah. My wife
she
can
does
say
not
the same
like
about
the
me.
people above her successful.
Yeah.
Like George Lucas, she wants to rewrite what he did, even though that's why they didn't do this trilogy.
Yeah.
They could have done. She could have just walked in and went, you know what? This Timothy Zahn successful book series.
Yeah.
One of the most successful.
How about we have our Old
Let's
Republic
just do
universe?
The live action.
Yeah.
And right there, you just go right into it. And she like you just started dipping your feet into the books.
Yeah.
I mean, once you get further on, you start realizing, why aren't they making movies of this stuff? Because there's so much source material. You just have to make a screenplay out of it.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So
good. Just like reading, like I can sit there and tell you, I've met people like Kathleen Kennedy before, so I have a good reference point of who this person is.
Yeah.
Because how they act, the stuff they say, the way they denigrate and talk badly, like about fans, about not understanding. Like Favreau and Filoni don't do that.
No.
They know the fans are the source.
And everybody loves them.
She wants to lead people down the path. She wants to lead them down. And when they resist, she'll just shoot them. That's the type, not literally. I'm not saying that, but she'll just fire them. She'll just be great.
She's a dark Jedi.
Belittle them. She's dark. She's definitely the dark side of the Force when we talk about
Jedi.
this. But she had everything out in front of her, and narcissism caused her.
So much good material she could have used.
So much good
material.
You haven't even got into the Darth Bane trilogy or anything.
No, I just know that this book was so good at like not knowing what was going to happen, because like you think, okay, they found a way to make Princess Leia safe, and then Thrawn immediately figures out where she is, and then she's attacked. You're like, oh my God, how is she ever going to get out? And then she figures out a way to get out.
And then, and the other thing that see is like Thrawn loses.
Yeah.
During the book on multiple occasions, things he wants to have happen, like capture Luke and Leia, win certain battles, gets thwarted, and he loses or gets a partial win.
Yeah.
And he doesn't get like Darth Vader and start killing every motherfucker.
No,
he kills one person, but he has one person executed, but it's more of a statement. Like if you don't do your job, if you really screw things up,
he just adapts and overcomes.
He's just like bigger picture.
Yep.
Well, we didn't win this one, but guess what? Now we know more information about how they're going to react in situations, and next time we'll be stronger for it. He has that mindset.
He's such a good,
which
well-written
makes you
character.
Super dangerous. Oh, he.
Yeah.
Wait, I
can't wait.
This year, you're going to have to spend a lot of time on Audible because you got to listen to all the Tron books. All the Thrawn books are unbelievable.
I bought them all. I just have to start plowing through them.
All right, but we got to start this quiz.
All right, let's do the quiz.
So bottom line is, we'll be listening to the next book. We'll probably be referring back. We just don't have enough time to sit there and we could spend hours talking about this book. We start going off on different avenues. Amazing book. Timothy Zahn is the man. It leaves off and starts in the same place with the next book. So,
5 out of 5 kettlebells.
It's all written by all three of the trilogy. This trilogy is all written by Zahn. It is the essential reading material if you want to know about Star Wars Legends and not the diarrhea that Disney coughed up after they took over Lucasfilms.
5 out of 5 kettlebells.
There you go. I agree. Now we're going to see how bad.
Oh boy! So we're going to end this podcast on a sour note.
Shits the bed this time. So this guy, pretty smart, not a dumb guy.
Well,
seems to have some retention issues.
Yeah. Well, I'm old and I don't sleep well, but let's roll.
All right. So these are all questions about Heir to the Empire. He just finished this book a week and a half, 2 weeks ago.
Hit me up, Carl.
All right. So
Casey.
You get a very short period of time to answer these questions because we only got like 15 minutes. You can't be sitting there for 5 minutes.
I know.
On each question. All right. Who is the commander-in-chief of the New Republic fleet?
Oh, she was she's the senator. She was on Andor. Starts with the M.
I'm gonna ask you one more time because you're wrong. Who is the commander-in-chief of the New Republic fleet? And I'm giving you this.
Akbar.
See, I gave you that one. You were going to say Mon Mothma.
Yeah, that's what I was. All right.
I knew where you're going, so I saved you right there. I don't want you
That's
to shit
one.
the bed. I want you to show that you got some Star Wars
That's
knowledge.
one.
I want Wikipedia to go, that Brad guy knows something.
I know. Wookie, I hope you're not listening to this one.
Han wriggles out of his handcuffs, which were not real, and helps whom make their escape?
Oh.
Helps whom make their escape?
Luke. No. R2D2.
Luke.
Dang, that was my first one, but
remember they're in there, and so he wiggles out of his handcuffs.
Yes.
And then Luke brings the arch down on top of
yes.
All right, one right, one wrong. That was a tough one, though. I had to think about that one. What is Kashyyyk?
The Wookiee planet.
A planet. You got it. If you don't know it, I'll read the answer off too. Like if you don't immediately know it, so you got two. So
woohoo!
The smuggler contact agrees to do as Han asked because Han did what?
Oh my gosh. So I know the context around this.
Saved him from aliens, punched him, threatened him, paid him.
Saved him.
Yep.
Thank you for the multiple.
What is Lady Luck?
That is a ship.
A luxury cruiser, a smuggling freighter, a star destroyer, or a mole miner?
Say that again.
A luxury cruiser, a smuggling freighter.
Smuggling freighter.
Wrong. It's a luxury cruiser.
Oh, that would be my second choice.
Lando's luxury cruiser.
Oh, is that what Princess Leia was on? Yep. See, kind of knew it. Sorry,
Who
Mom.
pays a visit to Luke and Leia during Leia's Jedi training?
Who pays Luke and Leia a visit?
Han, Lando, Card, or Wedge?
Wedge.
You are correct. 4 right, 2 wrong. Not bad. You're on it.
All right, Wookie.
While trying to escape his cell, Luke hears Blink nearby.
R2D2.
Thank you. Didn't even have.
Didn't have to.
Options.
Yep.
Well, okay. When does Han tell Luke that Luke cannot join them on their trip to Biffash?
Let's see. I don't remember why.
The Biffash do not like Jedi. The Biffash do not like unscheduled visitors. The Biffash do not like Luke specifically.
I don't think they like Jedi.
You are correct.
That's right.
See, it's easier when I give you the multiple.
It is.
That's why I told you you better get 20 out of 25. That's still to be seen.
That's
Luke declines to escort Leia because he wants to follow up on a blank message from who?
He feels it from the planet that Yoda was on, right? And so he wants to go to the cave. Is that what you're talking about?
No. Another Jedi, Akbar, Fela, or a council member?
The Jedi.
Another one right. You're doing good, man. Thrawn arrives at what place and orders the commencement of planned attacks? Bibbash, Kashyyyk, Coruscant, or Merker?
Let me think. It wasn't Kashyyyk. Wasn't Coruscant, I don't think. What, say the other one?
Bibfash or Merker?
Biffash.
You were wrong. It was Merker.
Oh
Well, you have no chance to beat me now.
no.
All right.
But if I can get 16, I'll consider myself semi-respected.
Luke decides to go see Lando where? The Outer Rim, Coruscant, the Altheja system, the Alderaanian system.
Coruscant.
Wrong. The Algea system.
I don't remember that at all.
That's where they had to take the ships to transport them in.
Oh, that's
shield
right.
them.
That's right.
As they run for cover, Han and Leia hear the familiar sounds of what flying overhead?
Millennium Falcon.
Yes.
But was it really?
It was not. It was
Oh,
Thrawn
yeah.
found a Corellian freighter. Sounded like the Millennium Falcon because he was trying to trick him.
Almost
But
got him.
Leia's force ability saved him.
That was such a good part in the book.
Thrawn is a beast. All right. Luke and Jade are about to leave the forest and debate how to do so without being detected by whom? Han,
No.
Card,
No.
Forest Predators, or the Imperials?
The Imperials.
Correct. Luke goes through the wires and notices that his best option is to blank use what power source to escape?
His hand.
You are correct.
Such a good part, too. So many good parts.
Aves is about to blow the rescue plan by beginning the attack, and Lando threatens him with what object? A lightsaber, a vibroblade, a heavy pipe, or a blaster?
Say that again. What was that?
Aves is about to blow the rescue plan by beginning the attack, and Lando threatens him with what object?
Blaster.
Correct. You're at 11 right now. Dude.
See that, Mom? Maybe you'll love me now.
Probably not.
Probably not. That hurts. That hurts. Okay.
Jade obviously hates whom?
Luke.
You got it.
With
So
the
I told you these
fire.
weren't that hard.
With the fire. Luke destroyed
The
her life.
Wookiees, Raw and Blank come to greet the landing party.
Oh my gosh.
This is the one I missed.
Yeah. What are the
Lobaka, Nabaka, Salmarine, or Salporin?
Salporin.
You are correct.
Ha!
I said Lobaka, and I don't know why.
Because you're a two-bit chump.
I missed that one. As he prepares, but you know what happened too when I did this quiz? I hardly read the multiple choice.
I know.
I'm
not even trying to say that I'm at your level.
As he prepares to go back into the Jedi-induced trance, he calls out to whom? Leia, Obi-Wan, an unidentified Jedi that called to him before, or Yoda?
Leia.
Correct.
Help me, Leia.
Wedge
You're my only hope.
Antilles notices what sort of ship passing through without an escort, signaling that something's wrong. A bulk freighter.
No, say that again. Say the question.
Wedge Antilles
Okay,
notices
Wedge.
what sort of ship passing through without an escort, signaling that something is wrong.
All right.
A bulk freighter, a cruise ship, an X-Wing, or a TIE fighter.
Oh man. I vaguely remember this part. I am going to say X-Wing fighter.
You're wrong. Bulk freighter.
I was my second guess. I should have gone with my gut.
The No-Gray.
Yeah. The
No-Gray. Explain that they know who is related to Vader. Luke, Han, Leia. Yes.
The daughter of Leia.
No.
I'm no daughter of Vader.
The daughter of Vader.
Yeah, I messed that up. The daughter of Vader. Sorry, Mom.
Han and Leia wonder why the Empire chooses Bibfash when what is not too far away and might have made a better target.
Ooh, hit me with the choices.
Sluis Fan, Kashyyyk, Coruscant, Endor.
Say that again.
Han and Leia wonder why the Empire chooses Bibfash when what is not too far away that might have made a better target.
What are the options?
Sluis Van, Kashyyyk, Coruscant, or Endor?
The first one.
Say it. Sluis Van.
Sluis Van.
And they're also shipyards. Remember, that's where
Yeah.
they did the attack.
That's how I was waiting for you to say shipyards.
Just think how many you'd get wrong if I didn't give you
I know.
multiple choice
That would
options.
have been a lot. But I know, like,
told
in
you
a
it could be good if
broad
I give you
sense.
multiple choice.
Yeah, in a broad
X-Wing
sense, I know.
fleet is called what? X Squadron, B Squadron, Red Squadron, or Rogue Squadron?
Say that again?
The X-Wing fleet is called what? The one Wedge leads.
Yeah.
X Squadron,
No.
B Squadron,
No.
Red Squadron,
Yes.
Rogue Squadron.
Red.
Rogue Squadron.
Dang it! I should have known that one. I was thinking Rogue
There's
One.
a whole book series called Rogue Squadron that I read many years ago.
Yeah.
It's really good too. Not a lot of Jedi or that's just fighter pilot war stuff. Luke and R2 finally get loose from their cells and head outside to find what? Luke's X-Wing, any ship to escape in, a place to hide temporarily, or someone to help them.
So they escape, and they see.
What do they head outside to find? What?
They head outside looking for his X-Wing.
Nope. Any ship to escape in.
Okay.
Because they already knew the X-Wing couldn't go to Lightspeed.
That's right. See, that one's my bad. I knew that one if you would ask me it again.
As Han and Leia are arriving on Niklon, who also arrives at the same time? Wedge, Thrawn, Luke, or Akbar?
Luke.
Correct.
Back in the win column, Mom.
Last one. Leia sets a time and place to meet up with the Nogri in the near future so that she may do what? Start a trade agreement with the Nogri, see what Vader did for them, get their help to rescue the Jedi, talk to the elders.
Talk to the elders.
See what Vader did for them.
But isn't she going to see what they did for them by talking to the elders?
No, because they say that he saved them.
Yeah.
And that he was their savior.
All right.
So
that's weak, but I'll get you that one.
17 out of 25.
All right, and now admit it, I did better than what you initially thought. I mean, it's not like super good, but it was not shitting the bed. So
yeah, she didn't shit the bed like that last one. So,
yeah,
but the last one was pretty easy too.
No, it was not.
Yeah, but like with this one, like I missed two, but it was mostly I rushed too much. I thought, oh, I knew it. It popped in my head, and I go, and I go, oh wait, if I'd have stopped and thought about it, I would have probably got it right. You know, but I didn't even need the multiple choice on probably 20 out of the 25.
No, I really should have gotten 18 because there's that one. If I would have thought longer, I would have figured it out.
Yeah. The Bibfash one is the one that I messed up on. So, all right. So, Heir of the Empire, 5 kettlebells out of 5. That was his rating. I'll give it that too. Although, I'll be honest, it is an amazing book. But if you were to ask me, I got to get finished a trilogy. That 8-series book series of Path of the Jedi was pretty freaking good.
All right, now what's better? Because you've also read, like, I know we got to go soon, but you also read the book that I did, Old Republic Revan.
Revan, yep.
Did you? What would you just briefly out of the 5 kettlebells? What would you give it?
5.
I'd give it 4.5.
5 really without a doubt. Because it's only one book. They didn't do a series, and it wrapped so much together, so much information in that book.
And I wanted so much more. I was so into it. When the book was over, I was like,
I think it's Drew Karpyshyn who writes all the kind of Darth books, like Darth Bane, Revan.
Yeah.
I think he writes all of those. I'm pretty sure it's Drew Karpyshyn. And he's really good too.
Yeah.
He paints a beautiful picture when he writes. So the books are amazing. I don't think there's any Star Wars book where there was a few. There was one with Han that had a lot of Han and stuff. There was a few that I was like, maybe a 2.5 or 3 stars on. You know, not horrible. Like read it, but it's not great. But most of them, like the big series or even some of the smaller, they're just amazingly well written, and they stick to the culture that George Lucas created. Even the High Republic, which I don't think the High Republic books are as good as other ones,
Yeah.
but they draw you in, and the Force is very prevalent, and they stick to the kind of George Lucas. There's few little things that are I don't like that much in them, but it really sticks to what George Lucas's vision of a galaxy far, far away is. And I love the books. The books are awesome, and I'm super excited, man. We're only 6 weeks away from Ahsoka.
I know. So excited.
Maybe a little bit over 6-7 weeks.
I just want to say this one last thing before I forget, before we wrap this up. The book was written that it just fit perfectly right after the last of the original trilogy. Like the characters. Yeah, it wrapped, it just seamlessly fit in. Oh, they refer stuff to to the movies, and the characters are written like they would in the movies. So well done.
All right, well, I got to go. Group class is going to start in 15 minutes. So
sad.
But all right. Anyway, great book. Definitely read Heir to the Empire by Timothy Zahn. And then you'll definitely want to move on to the next book, because it just basically one book ends and another one starts right at where the last one left off. It's just continuation on all 3 books.
Do or Do Not Podcast. His website is
rosevillesc.com for all your fitness and health and wellness needs.
And we'll do this again next week.
In a couple weeks. We'll do another podcast next week, but it won't be on Star Wars.
Yes!